My name is Dave Souza. I am the project manager for LRC Technologies. We are presenting our RFP for Orange Creek Incorporated. They have asked for a full network build. So these are the things we'll be talking about throughout our presentation. A lot of things to go over in this project. As I said, I'm the project manager. Eileen over here was our systems design analyst. Sunny was our public affairs director. Parnell was our director of accounting and budget. And Money here was our information security officer. And Sima was our system analyst. The overall needs for this project were to create and implement a network which for Orange Creek, for Fortune 500 company, who has recently purchased a 2-story building in order to expand their business and make sure that they can continue meeting their goals. The main objectives for this project is to ensure that the entire network is installed and set up properly, that it meets all the requirements that they've set forth, that is kept within a cost-effective budget, and that the system is secure and has adequate recoverability.
And I'm Money. I will be going over the project scope, basically talking to you guys about exactly what it is we will do and what it is we won't do. So part of the scope is we're going to design, implement, and test a network that works and turn it over to Orange Creek. We're also going to design and implement and make sure that they have secure Wi-Fi within the building. It's also the network will accommodate voice over IP traffic with large spikes of web traffic. And each floor will have it will have 5 servers with each floor containing 2 or more servers for quality insurance environment, and then each floor will have an email server, DLAB authentication, and Active Directory permissions for intranet. And another part of the Active Directory is all of the network pieces will be tested, and we will ensure that everything is operational before we turn it over to our client, so that there is nobody left hanging as in, this doesn't work, or how are we going to do this. The network will service the production, the HR, finance, development, and testing teams. So that basically is what they required of us, and that is what we are giving them, because that is exactly what they wanted. So if later on they say, hey, we would like to do this as well, that would be outside of the scope and would be something else entirely that we would have to deal with if they wanted us to, which would be separate from our this proposal. We're also going to have limited training for follow-up, because what we want to do is it's going to be a little bit of a learning curve for the IT department that is already there. So what we'll do is we'll teach them the intricacies of the network so that they don't have to rely on us or try to call us, because what we are doing is just setting the network up for them and making sure that it functions the way it's supposed to, so that they don't have any questions later on, because that's not what we're offering them, network support. And then so the warranties will basically be on our installation to make sure that we have configured the routers the proper way so that they work efficiently for the company how they want it. And then all of the hardware will have their own manufacturer's warranties that the company can go through just in case they have any issues. And so the next thing I want to talk about is outside of scope. This is really important because you have to make it very clear that what's inside of the scope is exactly what we're doing for you guys, and everything outside of the scope means this is stuff that we are not going to be doing. So there is no follow-up support if they have any questions in terms of, I'm having these problems or this. If it's not network related in terms of the routers are working fine, it's configured fine, if they're like, we want to add an extra server, that is not something we will be doing for them. And then any employee teams that are not listed, like I was talking about the HR, the finance, the development, we aren't accommodating for any of that because that is not what they have required of us. So basically, the amount of servers that they've asked for is exactly what we will be giving to them. We're not going to be saying, okay, 6 months down the road we'll come and install another one if you need it or this. Everything that's inside of the scope is exactly what we will be providing for them. And then basically the last thing we won't help with is disgruntled employees. So if a company has a disgruntled employee that goes out of their way to harm the network, that is something that the company will have to deal with themselves. And sadly, we can't help with that because you don't know who's going to do what. And then, so Deliverable, basically, we're going to design and implement and test a network that will accommodate 180 employees and include network infrastructure, secure Wi-Fi, with 12 company servers and 180 clients. So the stakeholders are some people that I want to talk about. So it says customers, but what do I mean by customers? So for us, our customer is Orange Creek, and their money is being used. They are paying us to make sure that we design and implement a network for them that is efficient. The investors are people who are investing in Orange Creek. So those are basically people who are pouring money into Orange Creek, who is then pouring money into our company to make sure we design and implement a network that works. Regulators are people that Orange Creek will hire and make sure that they keep up with not just our team, but our project manager. They keep in touch with him to make sure that everything stays on budget. There are certain things that can happen that, that you can't really, account for that will cause delays or cause a little bit of the price to go up. But the majority of the time, they want to make sure that everything is going on track and we're doing exactly what it is they're requiring of us, so that they don't end up with a product that they're like, this is completely different from what you guys wanted. And then the software developers are going to have their own part of the network because they're going to be working on it after we leave. So we want to make sure that we assign them the right roles, give them the right permission, so that they're not stuck having to, say, oh, I don't have this certain admin privilege, I can't do my job. And then the IT personnel that the company, Orange Creek, will employ are going to be the people that, we will teach as we go on how our network works, so that they know exactly what they need to do to make sure to keep the network up and running in a secure and efficient manner. And then Sima will be telling you about some of the requirements that we had for this project.
Afternoon. Some of the requirements that we have, or that they have, is that they want a secure Wi-Fi within the building. Be able to support voice over IP and large spikes of web traffic. 5 developed and testing servers per floor. 2 quality assurance servers on 1 floor. A robust email server. LDAP authentication and Active Directory permissions for intranet. Carnell.
Okay, my name is Carnell. I'm going to go over the budget breakdown for the Orange Creek Inc. Installation, architecture, installation network. There's 4 parts I'll be going over. There's the hardware cost, there's the software cost, there's the furniture cost, and then there's the wage cost. As you can see, we have our servers on top. There will be 18, totaling at $27,520. There's the Cisco routers. Then we have the phone IP, the VoIP phones, and the gateway. The next 2 lines, and then the LCD monitors. The smart rack values to store the servers in the closet, the workstations, and switches. As you can see, there's contract labor and installation wiring as well. Next slide. All right, so the estimated software cost, because we went with standard norms for the software. Everybody knows about enterprise, Microsoft. Whether you have new employees coming in or employees that's been there that you're going to provide the software for, they're going to understand it. So we have 8.1 Windows with the upgrade option for room for growth to provide the necessary software that will give them what they need to keep providing financial services. Then we have Microsoft Server Standard. That will be for the 16 servers that we have, and those are with the option for room for growth and McAfee Firewall Enterprise antivirus to protect our network from outside intrusion. And also we have off-site backup and on-site backup. So that's to protect our system. If there's a failure, we have backups, and we're able to go off-site if there's any problems.
Next slide. It was already discussed in the other one.
So in the end,
Go ahead.
in the end, with our wages and all those other items that we went through on the budget, the total cost will come to $650,000, $614.93. Next slide. Dave, back up.
Each of the pieces are going to take a little bit of time. So I have estimation of how long each of them, and this includes our planning time frame. So the actual installation will go faster than that. Main parts are the Active Directory, which is a process just because of the testing time frames, and the configuration of the servers and infrastructure. Each of them has to be done in time with each other.
Project assumptions. It's assumptions, so we want to assume that the project will go smoothly and that the deadlines will be met, and we will have enough resources as well as have the budget. Risks are the things that could go wrong with this project, and we want to try to minimize the impact it may have on the project. And examples of the risks are exceeding the budget, some faulty equipment, and hardware, and installations, delayed on the installations.
Obviously, every project is constrained by some things. We have time is a big consideration for the company as they're getting their building up to their code, and us implementing. Budget is obviously paramount to any company, and then resources. And what I mean by resources are the people to be able to do things. As a smaller company, we will take a little bit longer to do things because we have a little bit less people to spread out between different tasks. Each of these, there are some dependencies for each parts of the network. I talked about these somewhat before. These are some of those dependencies. In order to have your Active Directory, you have to have figured out the charter, and you have to do some planning, figure out how the network's going to be configured or set up, laid out with it. These are fairly self-explanatory.
Okay, so it's real simple. The project approach will be real simple. So the schedule to the project is broken up into multiple parts to ensure that dependencies are respected, and then functionality of different parts of the system is dependent on other parts of the system. So that's our project approach. Communication plan.
So for our communication plan, we have 6 members, and the main thing that we use were emails and WhatsApp to communicate amongst us. And our team project manager met with our sponsor on Thursday nights, and the rest of us, including Dave, we met on Friday nights to discuss about our project. And these are the guidelines. So each member was held accountable to complete their task in a timely manner. And we used Google Drive to upload files, and if anyone needed any sort of help, they used WhatsApp or anything and would give them help.
So the network change plan is created during the planning phase of the project. Its intended audience is the project manager, the project team, the project sponsor, and any senior leaders who is needed to carry out this plan. When we talk about this plan, we talk about evaluating planning, being proposal communication, documentation, and post-change reviews. Sorry, got it. So when we talk about evaluation, we are determining the need and the priority of it and the risk of the proposal change or the proposed changes. Planning for it is a plan that has to be including the budget, the design, the scheduling, the testing, and having a backup plan. It rolls over into the review plan, so we have to review it with the entire team and the sponsor of it. So we need approval from everybody that is responsible for reviewing it. We have to coordinate the changes with the stakeholder. We have to implement the changes according to the stakeholders, and we must document everything that we have noted down. And for the post-change review, we will go over the changes after we have made them. So the policy. Now, the proposed change must meet a neat standard to proceed in the process of each proposal. Proposal will be accompanied by a justification. The project manager will be responsible for ensuring proposed distribution of the documented purposes that meet the standards of this policy, as well as ensuring the change is implemented according to the appropriate standards. The requirements. Standard changes must enhance network functionality to have a business justification. Major changes must serve a critical network improvement function. And emergency changes must resolve a critical network deficiency or impending network failure scenario. For standards, all changes will go through the following phase. As I was talking before, the evaluation, planning, review, approval, implementation, and documentation.
This actually is just a representation visually of our schedule from before, including our dependencies. I know it's kind of a nice chart.
Alright, so WBS, its work breakdown structure is a decomposition of all the work necessary to complete a project, and it's arranged in a hierarchy and constructed to allow for clear and logical grouping either by activities or deliverables. And ours is we broke it down into 3 sections, requirements, costs, and technical. And then they are further broken down into smaller components for work done in detail. And WBS dictionary is just it's a document that provides detailed information about the components in the WBS, and each member is assigned a title and responsibility for their part of the component.
So this is our logical diagram. So we have 3 total of routers, 4 access points, 2 on each floor, and we have a total of 11 switches. And the requirements is to have 5 servers on each floor and 2 additional on whatever floor you may put it. I put it in floor 1 for the 2 servers for QA, and we added more servers, which a total comes to 18 servers. And this is the physical floor for floor 1. The darker side is where the drop line's at. And floor 2, same thing. Server configuration. The application server will be used to host Orange Creek's applications, hosting all of the day-to-day operating software that the company will use. The Active Directory will route internal requests and handle file permissions. These servers will have an IP. The server's IP will be dynamic. The web servers will host our internet traffic to our site as well as route our internal internet requests. It will also have multiple firewalls and host antivirus software as well. Our file server will host the bulk of the company's data. All employees will have access, but certain areas will be restricted, like the HR and accounting. These restrictions will be monitored and enforced by the Active Directory server. And the QA server will hold all QA-affiliated data. We will also restrict access to this server to QA personnel only. And the on-site backup will host our backup data. It will be updated with the changes to everything during the night.
So I'm going to be going over the Active Directory schema and the Active Directory policy with you guys. So basically, what is Active Directory? It's composed of forests, trees, and domains. And for this project, we focused on 2 main domains, which would be the production and the development, so that the production side would have their own set group policies, and the domain for development would have their own. So we want to keep that separate. And then so these are some of the different group policies we had. So an administrator, they would have full control to be able to do whatever it is they need to do, which would be given out to whoever they want to keep as administrator, top level execs mainly. HR, they would have certain group policies that allow them access to records in finance and employee records would be managed by the managers, because they have to be able to figure out, who are my employees, who's working for me, and so they need separate permission. The developers will have access to developer tools and the developer domain, because they're going to need a little bit more access than the rest of them, except for a little less than the administrator, because they can't have full control. The users will just have general access to be able to log in, do whatever it is that you need to do on the network, and you can't really change anything, you can't change any settings, and the guests will be limited to even less access to make sure that if somebody is a guest and they are trying to use the network, that they can only do very limited amount of things so that they don't disrupt the network in any way or try to harm it. So this would be our schema. Basically, as you see, we've got the roles, production, and we've got the development. And you see it drops down into the groups, and then from the groups it drops down into the users. And then on the side we have administrators, developers, quality assurance, human resources, users, and guests. This was our layout for that. and then Dave will tell you a little bit about client configuration.
We decided to go with Windows 8.1. I know it's not completely favored by business right now, but it has got more chance to be supported by Microsoft for a longer period of time. Now that they've come out with Windows 10, I think the support for Windows 7 will continue for a while, but it will slow down. Obviously, the majority of the security is going to be handled through the Active Directory when they're logged on. We have all of our clients will grab their IP addresses via DHCP, unless there are some instances where static IPs are needed. And then we have our two environments, production and development. The idea behind the two, when they connect, there'll be different programs based on what they're on. The development network will always obviously have development software installed. This is the overall infrastructure that we plan on using. The DHCP server over here, these are just representative. There's multiple servers that are going to be part of each section and multiple clients, obviously. All clients will be connected through the IP phones. Quality management.
So we discussed quality management plan together when we developed it, and the scope of the quality management plan will include certain checkpoints and requirements to indicate standards are met. We also, when all the requirements have been fulfilled on the newly constructed infrastructure, the Orange Creek Inc. Bank Software Company will be satisfied and be able to complete the mission unabated. Unabated. And then we went into the risk management plan. It's really simple. The risk management plan is designed solely to protect Orange Creek Inc. Bank Software. Our goal is reducing the likelihood that our client assets are not left exposed for exploit through vulnerable access points. And we also have a disaster recovery plan, a DRP, and that has been designed specifically for remedying common system outages or interruptions.
This is more for us. Sorry. Are there any questions? Go ahead.
What software are you guys using for your servers?
I believe it was listed on there. We're using Server 2012.
Software. Yeah, Microsoft Server Standard Single.
It's 2012. Yes, sir.
The $134.44 cost for internet, how was that developed? How did you figure that out?
What we did was Dave and I met and we went on to the Microsoft website and we entered in the amount of clients we're going to be providing software for, and they spit out a quote based upon what